Beckman Unleashed, podcast number 33.
We are live.
Eric, you just informed me that this is podcast 33, and it's the day after Christmas, and you just informed me that Jesus died at 33. And then you said, coincidence, I think not, or something.
More or less, yes.
So, I don't know. That might be the universe telling us something.
We're on the right path, my friend.
Yeah. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about big pet. That would be like big tech or big pharma or something. Big pet, because we brought up last podcast and people had comments about it. And I've got some things up here, and I'm going to give my opinion on big pet.
Do you have the original screenshot or no?
It's somewhere on my phone.
I'll try to find it.
Yeah, try to find it.
It's about the pet industrial complex. That was episode number 31.
That's a better way to put it.
And it was, who was it, Dynamart who posted it? It was
I don't
somebody.
know. The pet industrial complex. I'm going to call it big pet.
Okay.
And the problems with big pet, and may never get a sponsor on this podcast due to this
except for Diet Pepsi.
Pepsi's disgusting.
I know,
dude.
They were out of Diet Coke.
I would never even drink a Pepsi.
Well, I know, but
I grew up by Pepsi. Pepsi's big in the Pacific Northwest where I grew up. It's like as big as Coke. I always thought Pepsi and Coke were the same because it was like half and half up there. Then I came down here and I realized Pepsi is the redheaded stepchild to Coke.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that growing up.
Pepsi used to have Cindy Crawford as a
and that got you 30 years ago?
More or less. No, I actually don't like it.
I don't like it.
They didn't have Diet Coke, so I was like, whatever. And I really went off the rails this week with
diet,
with food and stuff. And so, what are you going to do? So,
all right. But I digress.
Yeah.
So big pet. Who's in big pet? Okay. It's the food makers. It's the vaccine makers. It's the chew toy and the toy makers. That's who I think's in big pet. It's also vets. So here's my spiel. Big pet doesn't care about your dog. Okay. You are responsible for your dog's safety, well-being, and health, not big pet, because they tell you, or because it's at the shelf in the store, or it's locked up flea medication or heartworm medication, and they tell you that your dog should have this, they being commercials and pet stores and veterinarians and your neighbor, does not mean that that thing will not hurt or kill your pet. Now, it might save your pet's life, and that's the choice you have to make with your dog and with your family, is a constant evaluating of pros and cons and of a number of different factors. So let's go through it. Food makers. Okay. These are the big ones. I think we all know who they are.
Does it start with a P?
Yeah, but like Mars now owns a lot of pet.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I did confirm that Mars, the company, now owns multiple big food things. So here's the thing. I don't believe that they can just lie about ingredients. There are laws against that. They can't lie. But when you take a food, I'm just an ingredient reader when it comes to my pet. And I go, oh, if the first thing on there is chicken byproduct, the second thing on there is corn, you have a problem. What is chicken byproduct? It's all the good stuff's taken out, good stuff, and the other stuff is left
chicken
in.
Sludge or what?
It's the byproduct. It's the other stuff minus the chicken meat. And I'm not saying bone's bad for him, but it's all the other stuff.
Isn't it like a larger issue that, like, I was watching the football game last night, and I think it was Burger King, and I said out loud, I was like, imagine if their burgers looked like that. Like, they look nothing like what they show you.
Oh.
Right? I mean, if you look at a Burger King commercial, it looks like the most delicious burger ever.
Yeah.
But of course, if you've been to Burger King, this is not the case.
Yeah. Why isn't there's that proof in advertising law or something in where you cannot just totally lie and show something that's not yours, but they kind of can.
Shouldn't you have to show the real food? Like, if you don't actually serve that food,
they can't show like McDonald's and act like it's theirs, but they can show theirs in a really nice deal because it's kind of still theirs, I guess. You think that law?
I think it's like, it's not the same burger. There's no way.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but like they're right up against those laws, right? Okay, we can do this, but we can't do this. Same with pet food. So that's what you're saying is the pet food industry. You're
Food
saying
industry, yeah.
the food industry.
general.
Well, yeah. And if you think that the human stuff is not regulated, just imagine what the dog and cat stuff is regulated by. The government really doesn't care, but they care about your dog and your cat way less than they care about you. And you could argue they don't care about you.
They don't care about anybody, I don't think.
So the food makers, here's the problem. Read ingredients, and if it says good ingredients, that's generally what's in it. However, they take this thing, all this food, and they make it into this little baked cookie. And they heat it up and they compact it in there. And that's the problem, as I see it, is that it's made into this kibble. I give my dog in part kibble because it's very filling and whatnot, but it's like you eating a protein bar every day for every meal. There's nothing fresh in it. Freshness is important to animals and organisms. We kind of all know that. So
when did you start using organisms a lot?
Because, well, I've always used organisms in my description of things for some reason. I've
You're
always
like a
used that.
biologist.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that. Yeah.
I was wondering, oh, this is like, hey, look over there, something shiny. A buddy of mine was on his boat and he saw an orca whale, just so you know, right off the coast of San Diego.
Yeah, they're down here right now.
Is that going on?
Yeah. There's
Oh,
like a
wow.
big pod down here.
That's cool.
It is cool.
Sorry to
No, if I
derail
saw a killer whale, as I call them, because I'll never call them orca whales, I would be very excited to see it in the wild. It's crazy how killer whales, we cannot get off topic. The people are watching and they're like, I want to hear Joel's pet food spiel. And we just keep going on.
Look, whales.
What the hell was I going to say?
You were talking about
if I saw a killer whale, right?
Something really cool about a killer
whale.
It
was really
What
cool.
would you do?
Oh, no, I'll never call them orca whales because the biologists and the animal rights advocates 15 years ago said, we're going to change their name. And then they just told everybody to freaking stop calling them killer whales. And everyone went, okay, we've called them killer whales for 100 years, but you biologists and animal rights people told us different. No offense to you.
Yeah,
who just used it.
Did I say orca?
You did.
Wow. You're not going to hold that against me, are you?
No, it's fine. You're just a normal guy living your life.
I was looking at that.
You don't think about this stuff.
I was looking for that comment, and then I was getting like down a rabbit hole. I'm like, I can't find this freaking comment.
Yeah,
we'll just
looking at it.
Like do a little.
There's
synopsis.
like 400 comments on our podcast.
Yeah, no, there's 414. So I was like, oh, this is not good. I figured it would have been toward the top, but it wasn't. And I think it was on episode 31. So
yeah,
not a big
it might have been the last episode. So kibble, you got to give fresh. Also, the food industry is governed. I have it right up here. I Googled who funds the AAFCO for dogs. So the AAFCO is, they write the kind of legislation.
What is AAFCO?
It's the governing body, although they say they're not a government body, but they're a special interest essentially. So they write
it's like a self-regulating organism.
Yeah, but and I know who pays them. The pet food industry pays for their own regulators. Now, why do I do quotes? Because the government oversees the pet food industry, but the pet food industry pays the AAFCO to regulate them.
The Association of American Feed Control Officials.
Yes.
So feed.
Now,
feed is like what they feed is any food for animals. Is that the way to think of it?
Yes. And it's 35%. The AFCO is 35% funded by the government and 65% funded. I just brought it up. You can bring it back up. 65% from non-federal resources. Do you know who those non-federal resources most likely are? The pet food industry.
The lobbying groups.
Yes. The pet food industry essentially pays the regulators. And then the government, if I was in the government and I was working on things for people, I would go, hey, AFC, write the law and then give it to us and we'll fix it. We'll put it in there. I wouldn't be reading every page going, well, I might because I'm a dog guy, but going, no, AFCO. I'd be going, okay, this doesn't, voters don't care. Boom, you're in.
Are you trying to say that our brilliant overlords are not looking out for us?
Yeah. And if they're not looking out for us, guess who they're really not looking out for?
The animals.
Your dog, because you cannot sue in our current legislative
dilly-dally
deal. Things can happen to your dog and you cannot sue for pain and suffering. You can sue for
For
the
the
value
food?
of your dog. No. Right now it's changing in Europe. It'll eventually be here. But right now, if a dog kills your dog or if a person kills your dog, I'm pretty sure you can sue for the value of your dog. As opposed to when things happen to people, we can get much more money for a variety of reasons. A dog is not in our current court system. It's not.
You can't make a ton
property.
of money off of
It's
it.
property.
Yeah, you can't make a ton
No,
of
but
it.
you can't like. There's abuse laws. You get where I'm at. So
yeah, it sounds like everything's all
why?
messed up.
Oh, you think?
Just observation.
Just use it's the smell test on this stuff. Okay. Should I feed my dog who I love this just compact baked little thing?
But it's cheap.
Yeah, and that's legitimate.
It's like McDonald's.
You're right. So you got to look at your
Top
finances.
ramen.
You got to look at your finances.
You ever eat Top Ramen?
I still eat Top Ramen occasionally.
It's
I
like
love Top Ramen.
68 cents a packet.
Dude, it's the worst thing for you, I think. I've seen how it's made, apparently, but it's so good.
You ever see it under the microscope?
No.
I saw a TikTok. It was like under a microscope.
What does it look like?
I don't know. They looked like little hairs that were on it. I was like,
Yeah. Well, there's not hairs, but I don't know what it is.
Who
I
knows
saw a
what's on
guy
there?
fix a sink with ramen. He like put the ramen in the sink and then did something over it and it created like
a
a
sponge.
sink. Yeah, it's wild. Or he fixed a floor with it and he wetted it. No, he didn't wet it. It's wild.
But what about the idea of like
we're just passing over that you've never seen that one?
No.
I'm telling you, it's a real thing. People can fix
a sink with Top Ramen.
Yes.
Okay.
Bring it up.
There's something called Sapporo. Like it was like a brand.
It's a beer, right?
Yeah, but it was like Sapporo Ichiban is the name of it.
Okay.
And it was in the same section, but it was like just tasted better.
But they have all kinds of stuff.
It was really good. I used to throw an egg in there.
Go down to your local Costco.
Throw an egg in there.
Oh,
but
that
so
is good.
What about the issue of you say, hey, don't feed your animals all this crap. And then I say, but we're already eating crap. So like, why would the animals be eating better food than the humans?
True.
You're saying they should both be eating good.
I'm not saying your animal should eat good. So, I'm saying no and make your choices in life based on understanding and not just saying someone just telling you do this to your kid.
Are you a bad owner because you don't feed Prince enough, what would you call it, wet food or like real food?
Let's call it real food. Yeah.
Real
so
food.
Raw. I'm not the best owner I could be. The best owner you could be would be a rabbit leg and a piece of smelt and a raw egg and some elk quarters. Yeah, that would be great. And I should do it because Prince is a star. I should do it. I'm
slacking. He works hard for his money.
He works hard. I'm slacking.
Okay.
Right? You make your choices in life.
Resolution? Like improve?
To feed him like that? I don't know where I'd get it. I need to talk to Kona Boy on Instagram, who does all these amazing freaking pictures of these dog foods with a duck head on it, and talk to her. And I need to get on track. She says it's not as expensive as I think. Kona Boy. It's the greatest. Now, I don't feed my kids that well. Should I feed my dog that well? Maybe. Make your own choices in life. Okay, how about... Sorry, I don't want to...
No, yeah, you're good. Keep going.
So that's the food stuff. Know who's governing it. Know if they care. Maybe they care. Maybe they care more than I'm saying. Maybe their money isn't from... I know where it is, but I don't know where you get paid matters, right? The pet food industry pays you. Do you want to be super hardcore against them? Maybe not. You want to cause problems for them? They sign your paycheck.
Can we bring up the issue?
Or they fund your group.
The Chinese dog food thing. When was this? 10 years ago? 15 years ago?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There was like dogs were getting like poison from like Chinese dog food.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a recall every year.
Yeah, but you remember that, right?
No.
No way.
All right. He's going to bring up Chinese dog food being poisonings.
Let's see here.
I am going to talk.
How would you not know
about
this?
Vaccine makers? So under big
for
pet,
dogs, for dogs, YouTube for dogs, Chinese food.
So
poisoning
vaccines. Before this podcast, I did some research and I tried to figure out what's in dog vaccines. I couldn't find it. Shouldn't we know? I'm not saying you don't give them. I might want to know what's in a dog vaccine. before I inject it into my puppy. That would be a good idea. I couldn't find it. I'm not saying it's impossible to find.
Melamine pet food recall 2007. That seems like about truth about
Yeah,
pet
that's
food
it.
16 years later.
So,
Oh, hold on. There's a Wikipedia.
So
there we go.
Vaccine makers, make your call. Does your dog rabies is go through everyone. I'll go through everyone, almost everyone. Rabies is a problem. Okay. It's not a problem because dogs generally don't get it. There's 4 animals that transfer rabies the most. 2 are on the East Coast, 2 are on the West Coast. It's bats, skunks, foxes, and raccoons. Okay. Those are the big transfers of rabies. And if you get rabies, it's kind of bad. Like you will die.
You can't drink. You're afraid of water or something, aren't you?
Yeah. You're afraid of water.
Insane.
And you're out in the day. So if you see like a skunk or a raccoon in like the middle of the day,
something's wrong.
Maybe something's wrong.
It's like deer weight or chronic wasting disease.
Yeah, it affects their brain. Yeah, they're scared of water, and I think some actually they're attracted to water, and they're attracted to like warm places or something. It's weird. I've learned about it a little bit in school, but I forgot. But I think you need to get these injections in your stomach if you get it. Like it's really gnarly. Rabies is bad to get.
I think I understand why you don't know about the dog thing though. So when did you work at SeaWorld? Till 2008?
Yeah.
So this happened in 2007. So you hadn't
I didn't
transferred
care.
over yet.
I didn't have a dog.
It's saying beginning in March 2007, there was a widespread recall of many dog. This is on Wikipedia, of many brands of cat and dog foods due to contamination with melamine and
cyanuric acid.
The recalls in North America, Europe, and South Africa came in response to reports of kidney failure in pets. Initially, the recalls were associated with the consumption of mostly wet pet foods made with wheat gluten from a single Chinese company. So there you have it. So that was like a big deal, though.
Oh, it was.
Then. Yeah,
if you remember it.
I mean, it has a Wikipedia page. That's pretty
Oh,
big.
it's like.
Oh, but look at affected brands. We're never going to get sponsors. Menu.
It was
foods.
all of them.
What is this?
Hills,
Nestle, Purina, Pet
Canine,
Care, Del Monte,
Natural Balance.
You know these?
Kirkland.
Hills is real big. Oh, it was Kirkland too. Huh?
Nestle Pet Care Products, which is Alpo.
Everything, huh?
A lot of them.
Wow. It's not good.
And this happens every few years. Maybe not that big, but it happens, these recalls. But it happens in people food too, I mean, this stuff happens.
I mean, it's not like hard. Americans don't have
problems.
Food outbreaks as well. So we're not attacking.
Yeah. So, know the deal. If you wouldn't eat a protein bar every day, maybe you shouldn't feed your dog kibble. But the other way might be harder and expensiver. Is that a word?
No. But Prince eats a lot of kibble.
Prince eats a lot of kibble. We feed him a lot of steak.
Because
we eat a lot of steak.
Kibble, almost only
grass-fed steak.
Unless they can catch something.
Yeah.
They can catch a lizard. They can eat all they want.
Yeah.
That's the way we do it at the house.
Yeah. Just know you're killing your cat, but yeah.
With the lizard or with the kibble? No, because we get it. We get it from what do you call it? We get it from Cahoots Pet Store. Shout out Cahoots.
Oh yeah, Cahoots is good.
It's pretty decent, right?
Yeah.
For kibble.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Cahoots is a good place.
Yeah.
I've known them for many years.
Yeah.
So Bordetella, it's kennel cough, right? They do a squeeze in your dog's nose. I don't know if you're into the human form of that, of which I don't know how YouTube is gonna deal with us talking about vaccines.
Dog vaccines.
Your dog can get a cold and be okay. Bordetella is the flu. Dog. You could get a vaccine against it, or you could not.
We did talk about dog vaccines a couple podcasts ago, and they didn't label it with that.
Okay, keep saying dog vaccines.
Dog vaccines.
Yeah, dog vaccines. There's more. There's parvo. Parvo's a real thing for puppies. Puppies get it. They will die. They can die.
So is that a good vaccine?
I want to know what's in the vaccines before I say anything's good or bad, and I can't find it.
What's in
the
vaccine?
I look at non-dog vaccines once because I have children. And it was like macaque blood. I was like, what?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, well,
It's like tiger
That's
blood.
your choice in life.
It's like tiger blood.
So
Remember that?
deal with the consequences if there are any. So
So do you have a list of ones that you're okay with, or do you just say to hell with the dog vaccines?
You want Joel Beckman's do this, don't do this? Is that what people want? Rather than my kind of, oh, yeah, everything's a choice in life.
Yeah,
I
want
that's
you to
kind
quit
of how I
waffling
am.
around.
Okay, so you think I'm
Get off
waffling.
your ass and give the viewers some info here.
See, that's what I want. If people want that, I will try to give them that.
They don't want the neutered version of Joel. They want the
But it's not neutered. It's life.
They want the last week fight a bum and get out of your car and try to fight some person over a parking space.
We got to talk about that. I need some help with that. Remember that.
Over what?
The fighting of people. I got multiple things saying, Joel, you shouldn't have gotten out of your car to go approach that guy.
Because they're afraid.
Yeah, but you said it last week.
I was afraid too.
I need some help with that. I don't know if I should have gotten out of my car. I'm rethinking my choices a little bit.
I have to address a correction from last week's podcast.
I'm not done with.
Okay, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
I just want to say, all you yahoos out there that were saying this merge thing, oh, well, that's okay. You merged too early. No, I didn't merge too early. There was a merging going on, and some a-hole who's not in the merge lane comes over and tries to cut across at the very end of the airport. That's what happened.
I think they knew that.
They're like, it's a zipper. It needs to go up like a zipper. I'm like, yeah, they're not. No, they were saying like I merged too early.
Oh.
I was like, merge too early. That guy wasn't even in the merge lane. He was in the far lane and then goes sideways to cut us off.
Oh, that was your problem. You didn't explain it because even during the podcast, I was like, that sounds like what people do every day. No, they're choosing. This guy comes over here.
Yeah, he was in a non-turn lane.
He was way over here.
Yeah, he was in the different lane, the straight lane.
Like this.
He was in the straight lane and then tried to get over at the last second.
Yeah.
So he tried to circumvent 25 minutes or whatever of traffic. So anyways.
Yeah, you had a problem with that.
Yeah, I didn't like that. You
called me about that.
I didn't like
about
that.
One comment.
I was upset.
Yeah.
I was unleashed.
Yeah. You really want me to say what is good and bad?
No, you say what you would do with your dog. How about that? Dog vaccinations.
I will let the breeder do their vaccine schedule, and then I will get the dog. And if there's a couple vaccines left to do, I might forget to do them.
What about?
That's what I would do. I conveniently forgot. My dog has gotten some vaccines.
There's some
might be good. How about titers?
What about?
Do you know what a titer is?
Isn't that when you already had the
you
issue?
Test the dog to see if they have the stuff in their blood before you just give tons more. By the way, they give small dogs the same amount as large dogs, is what I read.
I think.
What?
I think there's another issue though, which is that your issue, I think, is the fact that you don't trust the companies,
any of them,
that are doing this.
Yes.
It's kind of like when I was talking about
the people overseeing
that McKenna shot, remember? And I was talking about the one they tried to give my wife. And I was like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, that's my issue.
So the issue is like genuinely, it's not so much not being for dog vaccinations. You legitimately don't trust some of the companies that are doing this.
That's right. That's right.
Or is it probably the economic motive that is making your eyebrow raise?
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Which is a fair thing, right? What I'm saying.
Kind of sad, right? That like,
yeah, but in a way, like how would it? Obviously, I have a problem with it. I don't know the answer to fix it though. That's what I don't know. Oh, Joel, why don't you give solutions? Okay, there's 300 million people in this country and 6 billion in the world. How does every dog get a vaccination that they're totally transparent with? And they also see, here's my thing in life. Me and you and anyone with children and dogs, you're responsible for your own children.
This is true. And
your dog. The government is responsible for the holistic health of society.
And they're doing a great job.
Your problem is not, my problem is not the health of society. And Charles Darwin laid this out pretty clearly. My job is my offspring. I don't really care that much about society.
Did you know
the parents of the rest of that kid is in charge of that and all around. And if everyone's in charge of their own kids, we'll be okay. My job is not society.
So make sure your own house is in order. Is what
Yes.
you're saying? So what type of vaccines do the dogs in like Sonora, Mexico? What type of vaccines do they get?
Yeah, they don't. I don't think they get any, but they might die
True.
of heartworm, of which is a problem. You want your dog in a crate for. I'm getting back to my thing. You want your dog in a crate for 2 months, and they can't move because when they move, blood flows, and then it feeds that worm in their heart.
So are you
No,
for?
it's not good.
Are you
All right,
for
you want
that?
for and against.
Well, it sounds like you're for that one.
Bring up heartworm amount of heartworm in Southern California. So this is regional. There's places with
Can
more
humans get it?
mosquitoes. That is a good question. There's some things where I'm like, oh, I don't want to get that. I'm gonna
Heartworm in San Diego?
sure heartworm in San Diego and dogs.
Now I want to know
Now,
about people.
if you're in Alaska where there's a zillion fleas, maybe you do this thing. And if you're a million mosquitoes, then maybe you don't.
Let's get to the bottom of
This is
this,
the point.
Joel.
But the companies are not going, well, in Alaska, they have a lot of mosquitoes. Use our product, but in Southern California, there's not. Don't use our product. They're not saying that to you. You're responsible.
According to Antech Diagnostics, 104 dogs, 0.4%, tested positive for heartworm disease in San Diego County last year. That just means that they tested for it, though.
And
nearly
maybe there's
doubling the number of heartworm positive cases in 2012. But it's also, when it says 0.4%, it's 0.4%, which means that
of tested.
So they're not testing that many for that thing.
And what if the heartworm medication was the thing that kept that number so low?
Could be. Sounds like you're for it.
Would I? I do not give my dog heartworm medication.
Both dogs and humans
I will
can
roll
get
the dice.
Heartworm infections.
I will roll the dice because I don't know what's in the heartworm medication. My first Doberman, who I loved very much, died of bone cancer throughout his body.
Oh, yeah, Bosco. Okay.
Bosco. So why did he get it? Was it the food? Was it the vaccinations? Was it heartworm? Was it flea meds? Was it...
we don't know.
Well, I don't know. I gave him tennis balls. He chewed on tennis balls. I did not know.
Dude, but I don't think other people know. Like that might not be a good idea.
I know. It took me years. Imagine what's a tennis ball, what the chemicals that are on a tennis ball.
I tell my kids, put something in their mouth. I'll be, take that out of your mouth, dude.
Yeah.
Like plastic toys and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
so he would chew on tennis balls. Dogs chew on tennis balls. What the hell's it? What do they spray on a tennis ball before it goes out? Who the hell knows?
Both dogs and humans can get heartworm infections, but your dog can't give it to you through their bodily fluids. Thank the Lord. Heartworms get into the bloodstream
heartworms
of both humans and dogs through mosquito bites.
That's what I just said.
Dude, mosquitoes are the worst, bro.
Why are there mosquitoes?
Mosquitoes are worse than like some of the YouTube commenters that are like the trolls, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they kill millions of people. YouTube commenters don't kill millions of people.
But they're on that they're on the same level though.
Yeah, they would if they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, mosquitoes I think are probably for like population control. I mean, they're here for a reason, I think. I think everything. You know what needs to be eliminated?
Miserable a long time ago.
Gophers. They do nothing but destroy lawns.
They're moles.
Gophers are horrible. There's very few moles. Moles are insect eaters. Moles aren't around here. It's all gophers.
Isn't a gopher a mole?
No.
Do we need to look this up?
Your co-host is a freaking animal guy.
You're a biologist, right?
I basically am a biologist. A gopher
like George Costanza.
A gopher is a vegetarian. A mole is an insect eater. They're two totally different animals.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it when you're
Gophers are the worst.
After the podcast.
They're the worst animals. They provide nothing. Maybe they aerate the soil, right? And that's needed. But I hate them. I've killed so many gophers, and then I leave the gopher in the hole as a sign to the rest of the gophers that I'm not to be messed with.
They add nutrients to your soil.
And there's only one way to kill. Bro, they have these things you stick in the ground and it makes a noise. And the freaking gopher just lived around this thing. You stick it in the ground, it goes beep like every 20 seconds. And they go, oh, The gopher doesn't like the noise. The gopher like lived around that thing that I put in the ground.
I like how it
Smoke
says,
bombs don't work, although they're fun.
How
The
about
only
pellet
thing that
guns?
works is the pellet guns work. That's fun.
So
you just wait, and the little dude pops his head up. I always feel bad, but
they add nutrients to your soil and they eat weeds. Yeah, they eat weeds called grass.
yeah, they do eat weeds and they eat your grass and they give
They will
giant holds.
destroy. Did you
wire
know?
gopher's awesome.
That's what I googled.
Oh, the San Diego Humane Society said that? No.
I just googled it, and now
What does San Diego Humane Society say?
So see, what they do is I ask the question, and then they make it look like this is in some type of.
Oh, you said wire gopher's awesome.
Yeah, I googled this, but then it pops up kind of like, yeah, this is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah,
isn't that kind of sneaky? So yeah, Topo Chico. You know that drink we love?
Yeah.
Topo means like mole, I think, in Spanish.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So vaccines, do your research. Do more than me.
Sounds like you've done a ton of research on that.
Hours. This whole week was done on research.
Have you got your human heartworm vaccine?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Chew Toy, who was also part of Big Pet, Chew Toy, and Toy Makers. So
they're kind of the same, aren't
recommended. Well, I mean, the people who make
right?
the squeakies the same as the people who make the bully sticks. I doubt it. So, will you please Google how are bully sticks made? I gave my first dog.
This is a kid's show.
A
Joel.
ton of bully sticks, which are bull penises, and I was like, I naively thought that they lop it off the bowl and they put it in the bag. And then one day I go, I bet they have to clean these things. And then I go, what do they clean these bull penises with? And then I go, I've given my dog a zillion of these things and they're probably cleaned, as opposed to pig's ears that I think they literally lop off the pig and put it in a bag. Will you Google that?
What do you want me to Google?
How do they clean bully sticks? And by the way, bully sticks, they make them into, like, many products at the pet store are bully sticks. They wrap them, they make them into circles, they do all this stuff.
Bully sticks, Cahoots, Feed and Pet. How did that come up there? Are they listening to us?
They know.
Oh, is that their brand or no?
That? No, bully stick is just a thing. They know that you like Cahoots.
Hand wash with purified water.
Okay, good. Cahoots does that, but just get out of Cahoots pet store. That's a local Southern California pet store for you guys. I believe Cahoots does that, which is great, but I think most places don't do that, and they use, I believe it's formaldehyde.
How do you spell formaldehyde? I think it's form. There
yeah.
It pops right up.
What is a bully stick? Well, we know what a bully stick is.
Bully sticks have formaldehyde.
They are regular by use. These sticks do not contain any chemical processing agent or formaldehyde. The manufacturer has strict quality assurance specifications in their factories by the FDA and the USDA. All right, you love the USDA?
So when did
you love the USDA, people? Google how big a tiger enclosure has to be according to the USDA. I think it's 6x6. Did you hear what I just said?
I'm gonna look it up. I don't want them to have to look it up. I'm gonna do that for them.
All right. So they're saying it's not cleaned with formaldehyde. I don't want to give.
Yeah, but why would they say that unless it once was, right?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe it changed.
If you're like, hey, I don't cook any food with formaldehyde, you'd be like, well, why are you telling me that, right?
Yeah. Like years ago, it was like, I think it was one of these fast food chains. They go, we're not going to put any more rubber in the bread. I was like, what?
I know. We're done with the rubber.
You put rubber in bread at one time?
Lions and tigers are easily maintained in traditional barred or heavily wired cages.
Oh, meters.
So measure at least
meters
20
by 4
feet
meters
wide by 15 feet.
So a tiger can
20
be
by
in
15
300. Feet. All you have to do is, if you're a zoo and you have a tiger, according to America, is have a 300-foot cage for them.
Half the size of your average apartment.
Yeah, the size of your room. For a tiger.
Do you have a 300 square foot room? Maybe.
Is that big or small? That's small.
No, that's pretty big.
Oh.
For a master. Our master, there's 20 by 15 foot masters.
Oh, so I don't know. Tiger, I think the government should say, hey, guys, might want to make that enclosure a little bigger. But you could also argue that
they got to pay the bills, man.
Yeah. You don't want to stifle business.
They got a lion next door. They got to put that lion in an enclosure too. They can't put them in the same enclosure.
No, that's a good point.
Generally.
No,
but remember, a lot of these zoos are not like the San Diego Zoo or the Wild Animal Park.
What's up on my feed is like all animal stuff, and it's like in certain parts of the world they like stick like lions and tigers together and like watch them fight. And I'm like, how is this even on here? How is this not kicked off of my feed as
That's a fair
animal
question.
cruelty? There's this one, I get these Komodo dragons, and these people put these little goats out there
I saw
for
that
them,
one.
and then I have it all the time, and then they just, I'm like, people can just put
That goat's
goats
like,
out, and
"Ah!"
this thing just eats this
It
goat
bites
as
his
it's
head.
screaming in pain, and then swallows him whole. And like, a person put that goat there, by the way.
I don't
That
like
was
those
not a
Komodo
wild
dragons.
encounter. They're disgusting animals.
I feel like they would eat me if they could.
They'll bite you, and they'll get so much nasty saliva in you, you'll die. Your whole leg will fall off, and you'll die. It's not poison.
Where are they
technically.
from?
The
Mr.
island
Biologist.
the island of Komodo.
The Galapagos.
I think it's Komodo Island.
Do you know about the Galapagos Islands?
Yeah, they have the tortoise, and they have the lizard that swims.
I saw this guy on TikTok or something like that, and
Yeah.
he was debating the flat earthers. It was pretty good. Now I know you're on the fence about this one,
I am.
but it was pretty good. Like he was really taking it to him.
Oh yeah.
I think I need to show this to you after.
There's so many
podcast.
flat earthers. Like, I'll just be watching, and there's like somebody you fully know, and they're like, "Yes, the Earth is flat."
Actually,
and I'm like, "Wow."
I was thinking about that too, because there's some like UFC fighters that say this.
That's
like,
the people I saw.
I go like,
they're not always the smartest.
but it always makes me think like, I don't know if you're gonna ever be at the top. Like if you can't discern certain information, then I feel like you're hopeless.
You could be a good fighter.
Yeah, but man, but
you might not be a thought leader.
But these people, you're not gonna be a thought leader. But like, there's certain people, like I feel like they ended up getting like Diego Sanchez, where he ended up getting into this, like having this weird coach who was doing all kinds of bizarre techniques and like having him. It was just bizarre. But it's like he ended up going down this weird.
He tried to like
taking
reinvent
advantage
the wheel.
of. Well, it's like he believed that there was like these one punch kills and stuff like this. So it's just something that.
Is Eddie Bravo a good trainer?
He is a good jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows much about striking. Probably more than that.
But he's essentially a flat earther.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I think that alarm bells go off
for you,
because it's really about what it is it's like to me, it's like a lack of intellectual honesty or something. It's like you say this, Neil deGrasse Tyson is probably your favorite. He actually had a thing about
like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Not really, but what I like is I do like that he was a wrestler. But the issue that he said was like, okay, you give me your criteria for like what would cause you to believe that like the moon landing was real, right?
Or not real.
Or real or not real, either way, right? Yeah. And he goes like, okay. So he'll go, okay, I'm going to give you this. If you had a picture of it, that would be okay. And they're like, well, there's a picture. And they go, that picture's fake. And you're like, you see, I can never actually win because whenever I give them whatever evidence they want, they come back and
do you think Neil deGrasse Tyson would ever say anything that would stop his booking on with celebrities and being a celebrity everyday guy? Do you think he would ever have the fortitude to not to hurt his big stardom? I do not.
He is pretty rough around the edges.
I don't
he was
know.
on Rogan.
Bro,
it was the
celebrity
worst one ever.
Being a celebrity is like heroin, and these people, to lose that would be, they'd rather die. They are the beautiful rich people, and that's all they want. They want that injection of it, and if it ever stopped.
And why are you bringing Neil into this?
Because he's that guy. He's right up there.
He's pretty opinionated and not afraid to share what he thinks.
I haven't seen that from him.
Really?
No.
He was on Rogan and they were just battling it out it was the worst episode Rogan's ever had, for sure. Like they were arguing and it was super awkward.
Can I bring something up? I don't understand the chemtrail conspiracies. I don't understand them. I don't know what people are saying they're spraying. I think people think that the planes are spraying weather changing chemicals. I believe is that it?
They're trying to change the environment.
So these pilots, what do they not know? I'm down. Listen, I'll listen. I will listen.
The chemtrail. Now, this is Wikipedia, so take this with a grain of salt. The chemtrail conspiracy theory is the erroneous belief that the
Why does it say
long-lasting
erroneous?
condensation trails left is the sky in the sky by high-flying aircraft are actually chemtrails consisting of chemical or biological agents sprayed in nefarious purpose or for nefarious purposes undisclosed to the general public. So, I mean, I think they're saying it's erroneous because they're like, these planes are not spraying chemicals.
What are they? Oh,
To your point, I guess if they were spraying chemicals, they probably wouldn't tell us that. But biological agents, I don't think. I mean, I guess it depends on what if it's like a plane or a jet.
I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I just don't know how you keep the guys who load up the chemtrails quiet. Like, I don't know. Can you keep all these people quiet?
No. Well, it's the same thing with the flat Earth thing, though. I don't like what I don't understand is like everyone knows that all of the other planets are all spherical, right? So I'm like, why would the other ones be spherical and we're like either flat or there's all this it's so deep. Like there's so much activity on the internet about this. I can't believe it.
Oh my God. I know, it's crazy. Bro, I was camping like 2 weeks ago and I literally looked up and you could totally see. And I was like, are those really suns? Like, are all of those really suns? Like, this seems kind of crazy.
You don't believe it.
I'm just asking the question. Apparently, yeah, I just asked questions and have no answers. But like, I was just like, really? Is that that's almost as hard to believe as like we're in a simulation and that's something
They're
for
far away.
our enjoyment.
They're far away.
And
though.
it's just God putting beautiful things for us to see. I don't know. Those are all suns. That's it. That just go on forever. I don't know.
What?
It's kind of a crazy thing.
I mean, it seems right? I mean, it seems like what
Seems
else?
as good as any other answer.
I mean, I think they know there's like the difference like between there's planets and suns, right? So sun is a star, right? Planet's not a star.
Do you feel like you're just talking to a total imbecile?
No, I don't. This is actually what's crazy about like some of the flat earth stuff is I'm like, I feel like I have a decent understanding of basic stuff, but if somebody was like really into it, like I don't know if I could win a debate with them because I just don't have all of the. They go like, there's spinning at 4 million miles an hour, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's hard to like in real time like fact check somebody who's just like, well, the treaty, apparently the only treaty that's never been broken is like the Antarctic, like where you can't go.
So you
to
have
the middle.
seen this?
That's like the last
they
thing
say
I
it's the
saw.
edge of the Earth. They're like, no one's went down there, and then they're like, yeah, well, if no one's went down there, they're like, basically almost no one has went down to like the Mariana Trench or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're like, so if no one's went down there, does that mean it like doesn't exist? Like, he was just trying to understand like what. But so they're saying like it sounds like Game of Thrones. It's like an ice sheet,
bro,
that they're saying is the end of the world.
Yeah, I think that's what they say. Bro, by the way, I just saw a thing on, I think it's new in the mainstream where they're like the Earth actually isn't what we thought it was, or the conspiracy theorists say it's something different. I said that 2 months ago on this podcast that my geology teacher was like, oh, and we bounce sound rays through the middle and we know exactly how the Earth, where the lava is and where the crust is. And I was like, you know that from sound waves, bouncing it and then registering it in China. Like, that's how you know it. That you shouldn't be so sure. Well, now these conspiracy theorists are saying the Earth is actually not made of,
But if you, and I'm not saying these people, I mean, no, but here's where I get stuck here. It's like, so
there is a natural thing from pet products to this, if you really think about it, right?
If you really try.
What
I'm just trying to say is like, here's why I don't know how you couldn't solve this problem. Like, say this is the flat Earth map, right? Couldn't you just take whatever is here and over here and you just go the different direction and then you would be like solved, right? Or couldn't you also put the flat Earth thing down by just traveling around the world until you come back to the same spot?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm sure smarter.
Yeah, but you don't know how those planes
this.
travel. You could just be doing a big
so they could
circle.
be lying. So, but you're saying like they could go in the opposite direction because right, you could go.
You don't know where you're going on a plane, but how do you keep all these pilots quiet?
That's a lot of pilots keep quiet. I'm just thinking if you were to go east, right? You go to New York. We all know these places. So I feel like you could know that as you go further and further, you would know that eventually you'd come around. Because if you go California to New York, New York to Germany,
Yeah.
Germany to Moscow,
Kong.
right, or whatever, or Hong Kong.
Germany and Moscow's pretty close.
You go to what do you call it, Maui, and then you go back. Like,
yeah, you could just be doing a big thing like this. You would never know. You're sleeping and looking at your phone.
Is there people that like are thinking this is just like, do they 100% believe it, or they just,
Oh, for sure.
like, this is not a gag, right?
No, it is not a gag. You know that.
I mean, it's too much volume
it's
of stuff to make it think that this is not real. But like, can't you prove it wrong? I mean, it seems
It's
to
a
be prove it wrong in
total
100 different ways.
distrust in the government, of which the government has been not complicit. They have not warranted our trust enough for us not to go, the earth is flat, and then go, no, it's not. And us to go, okay. Like we're not listening anymore. We're not listening anymore. And when there's a vacuum of listening, then we're going to go to these crazy places of thinking. Like me wondering if those are actually stars in the sky. Because I don't believe the people telling me there's stars in the sky. I believe Elon Musk.
So
if he tells it to me, if he comes on this podcast.
What would they be if they weren't stars? You sound like you're from like that Lion King movie. Remember that?
Yeah, like Rafiki was like, oh.
And then the other was, I always thought they were like gaseous balls, millions and millions of miles away. Whatever. Can I blow your mind real quick?
They could be something that God made for the human race to look at something beautiful up there.
So can I blow your mind real quick though?
That's what that's not what I think. I think that's possible.
If we believe that science is or the modern science is accurate, like the million light year stuff is so insane.
I don't know if that is.
So do you know how far a million light years is?
It's a million light years.
It means it means that a million light years would mean it would take a million years traveling at the speed of light.
I know.
Which is not going to happen. So like, but a million years would be impossible for us to fathom. Let alone
light speed's impossible for us to fathom.
But both of those together. So you think of how far these things are away.
I know. It's all math at this point.
It makes you realize like humans don't know anything because we don't know where we are.
Yeah.
Because that's such a far distance that we don't know what's out there.
I know. It's all math. It's math.
How's it math? I don't understand.
You don't understand that? These guys,
you mean like
it's mathematical equations. Like there's pictures of things, but they're like, they just extrapolate like, oh, they're just doing math to figure out like where stuff is. And like sound waves and light waves reflecting and changing makes us think the universe is expanding. And like, they got all this stuff. They think they got it figured out.
I think we've gotten in over our skis on this podcast.
We're two guys just asking questions with no answers.
We're like, what do you think of this? And we're like, I don't know the answer.
Which is the average person at home. You're one guy. You're 30% of our audience. I'm 30% of our audience. And there's 40% of our audience that's like, these two dudes are...
What percentage of people are like crazy smart? We have some smart people on the podcast that listen to this.
I don't know.
I'd say 5%.
Yeah, that's
5% of you guys are really smart. 95% not.
Are the podcast listeners really smart though? They might be smarter than the average person.
I think they're smarter because of who they chose to learn about dog training from.
Yeah, that's actually a good. There are people who come to me and they're like, "You're the best dog trainer in the world." So if they're watching this, it makes me feel good. So if they're watching this podcast, if I am the best dog trainer in the world, holistically, right? Then you would be if I am, you'd be a smart person to watch this podcast. You'd be smarter than the average person. If I'm not, you might be of average intelligence.
Can we talk about something we're not allowed to talk about?
Maybe.
I want to talk. It's dog training. It's dog training.
You're the one who tells me sometimes not to talk about things. Although in this podcast, you don't really care because I think you wouldn't mind if we were like.
So we've already lost everyone we have already lost everyone with the flat Earth thing. So let's bring it back to dog training, and then they'll miss this amazing part.
All right.
So, you know how when you have like a wild horse, they have like they'll basically break them. They'll break the horse.
Yes.
So what does it mean to break a horse? Like what is the definition?
I mean, same thing as breaking a dog.
So, but okay. Let's talk about horse. Like, what does it mean?
Learned helplessness.
Learned helplessness.
Yeah, you want to know the definition of learned helplessness? I'll tell you the definition.
You're saying that learned helplessness is the same as breaking
It's a
a
similar
horse?
process. Yes.
What does breaking a horse mean? I want the oh, this is what is actually happening. What does breaking a horse meaning according to the dictionary?
Do it. Read it.
To accustom a horse to the bridle and
specific.
saddle to being ridden. Yeah, that's way too specific.
I'll tell you.
Why
what
is it important to break a horse? For a horse, riding is demand. So it's all about riding for them.
Yeah.
But basically, you're taking a completely wild animal, right?
Yeah. And you're submitting
domesticating
to
it
your will.
almost, right?
I mean, for a specific purpose of generally riding or being around them.
Couldn't the Native Americans, they were like grabbing horses like right off the
and breaking them
like nothing,
breaking them like an elephant.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, there are dogs that need a similar process because they're wild. And it's learned helplessness. It is sort of it is a submission to an inescapability that they eventually submit to.
Do you see why I was saying it's like bad to bring this up?
Yeah, because
it's like controversial, right?
Yeah, well, breaking a dog would be super controversial. And but that's also what's the definition of breaking something, right? Learned helplessness is a bad word, but it's not a bad word. It's a bad word to many, but it's simply not.
So what does learned helplessness mean?
Learned helplessness. Oh, the definition.
It's like a giving up or no?
Oh my gosh. I love to know the definitions of things, and I haven't thought of learned helplessness in a long time. And
in psychology, learned helplessness is a state that occurs after a person has experienced a stressful situation repeatedly. They believe that they are unable to control or change a situation, so they do not try, even when opportunities to change are available.
Essentially, the definition of breaking something. That's the definition of breaking something.
Which makes sense, though, right? Because essentially, I mean, and you could even break that into like, there's a bit of that in prison, right? Like,
for sure.
It's like you're basically saying you will lose. You're going to lose this game every time.
There's a bit of that in parenting.
You can't say that out loud.
A bit of it in certain situations.
Yeah,
you cannot go out and do that thing. I mean, yeah, there's okay. I mean, experience a stressful situation repeatedly. People and children experience stressful situations all day, every day. They believe they're unable to control or change the situation. There are people who do things wrong, and they should learn that they are unable to control the situation. You cannot go out and grab people
control
and
any
punch
situation
people.
a lot of times. Like life will throw out situations at you that you can't. That will, what do you call it? Create stress, basically.
Yeah,
repeatedly. So like, there's a level of part of the human or the animal experience is knowing what you can and cannot do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Recall and leash walking, there should be an aspect of learned helplessness involved in that. And if you were to tell me that we can do the exact same thing with positive reinforcement, I would say, great. And then I would say, how long does it take? And then you'd say, well, it takes longer. Okay, how long? Well, you have to use a long line forever and just reinforce them. And I go, yeah, but I can just do my go-get method. Yeah, but the go-get method is an inevitability that they are not going to be able to run away. And I'm going to go, exactly. And I'm fine for that when running away and getting hit by a car is the consequence of running away.
Learned helplessness, all right?
Going to get my recall method after you've trained the behavior with treats, there is an inevitability that that dog cannot change that situation. You are taking away their free will for 1/2%, maybe 0.01% of their life, and that is the 0.01% of the times I say come.
Certain dogs,
which is a very small part of their life.
But certain dogs refuse to do the learned helplessness thing, right? Certain horses don't like to be broken. Yeah, certain dogs are like, no.
And
certain people are like that.
certain people are like that. Yeah. The leash walking is sort of learned helplessness situation too. I mean, the leash becomes this thing. Now, when your dog pulls and they just pull you down the street, learned helplessness isn't being applied. They're still getting where they want to go. The leash doesn't mean anything. That's why my stopping method and many other methods out there, you have 4 feet. That doesn't ever change. You have 4 feet that way, you have 3 feet that way, and you can be back here. It doesn't change. My method, they literally will never get from here. They give in to the situation and it never changes for them.
Did I tell you that my dad and I went on a hike on Christmas Eve, I believe it was? And guess what? We're heading down, and some
Dogs
guy's
ran up to you.
jogging with his dog off the leash, and he's jogging by, and he goes, she's friendly. I wanted to tackle that guy.
Yeah.
I'm at some point, this is gonna like come to a head.
Yeah.
Like nobody has their dog on a leash, and everybody says their dog is amazing.
Yeah.
Like and I remember this whole
Could you beat the guy up?
I don't know.
My point
I
is,
feel like the jiu-jitsu thing helps me where I feel like
if you feel like you could beat him up, because you might get into an altercation if you say the thing that's going to help society or help you at that moment, and you say, I don't care, put your dog on a leash. You might get in a fight, but you also might.
I mean, I was
change
there with my
society
dad,
in a very
and there's
small
no
way.
way that he would have. I mean, I feel like just doing jujitsu and stuff, that there's, unless he was like some MMA fighter that I didn't know about,
Yeah.
would have been pretty easy. And then on top of that, my dad was there, so I feel like my dad's in good shape.
But
so,
you have a choice to make, and it's not an easy
it kind of
choice.
sucks. You're like, yeah, like
it does suck.
Where
it totally
or, you know,
sucks.
like use a leash or we're gonna brawl on the.
It sucks. I'm just saying
on the trail.
There's pop. It's not likely.
But I could do like what you did with the car, getting out of the car. It's like, hey,
just go.
Hey, are you
crazy?
aware that there is a leash ordinance in this county?
Yeah, you could say so.
Do you know this, right?
Yeah.
Like
People
we could fight
do that
over
all
it
the time.
We could fight over it if you want to, but like I'm just telling you, you should have your dog on a leash.
Yeah.
And I don't care if your
and
dog
I
is
wouldn't
friendly.
say we can fight over it. Like my point was the worst
That's what you
possible
said to the person in the street.
No, he didn't.
I'm just making that up.
Oh, the worst possible situation is a fight. So you go,
Getting
you
shot
go.
is probably the worst.
Oh yeah, that's true. But he's running. What are the odds he has?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get some bear mace. Oh, I shouldn't say that,
dude. No, you shouldn't.
I'm not gonna get bear mace.
We got demonetized on a video because I said something about that.
You said it's. Okay, should I say
we
it?
Can't even say it
because here I'm gonna do some wordplay here real quick. Imagine if you did say that if some owner was coming at you and you had something in your hand that sprayed that rhymes with tear day, right? And you hit them with it. And you did not, but you might have recommended that they use that spray.
I did.
To get them in the eyes.
Yeah.
You didn't do that, but if you did do that,
they might
video would have gotten demonetized, right?
Yeah.
So this didn't happen.
No.
So I shouldn't talk about bear spray.
No, probably not. I don't know. It happened.
Yeah,
I got demonetized.
But bear spray is cool. Like the fact that you can spray that much.
Yeah,
or it's not like mace. Like it's
a lot. So okay, so now we got back on track. You were talking about running, and that's not good.
We're talking about braking too.
I think I explained the braking process, and I think I'm right. Learned helplessness. It's a bad word to a lot of trainers.
But there is times where it's necessary.
Those trainers don't work with reactive, aggressive, difficult, or dominant dogs. Or they don't show it to you.
Those Malinois are gnarly, huh?
YouTube will get views if you work with those dogs. So if you're not putting that on YouTube, I would assume you don't work with those dogs. That would be a valid assumption.
So what else you got on that list? Big pet.
That's it.
Pet
food makers, vaccine makers, chew toy, and toy maker. Chew toy and toy makers. They don't have your dog's. I don't believe they have your dog's best interest in mind. This is the way of the world, though. This is companies trying to make a profit.
Yeah, which
it's a thing.
I mean,
you're responsible for you're responsible for your dog and your dog's health and your children's health, and you got to make informed choices with a cost benefit analysis of every single thing you do in life. And sometimes we're going the easy route. We're eating
Joel,
top
who's got
ramen.
this?
I'm feeding
Who's
my
got
kids top
time?
ramen.
Who's got time for all this shit?
Yeah, so do the smell test. Does that make sense? Does eating kibble, does my dog eating kibble make sense? No, not really, but I don't have the money. That's not me. I'm saying someone goes, I don't have the money. If my dog dies 3 years earlier, okay, I had him for 9 instead of 12. I'm okay with that.
So what about
Not
going
me.
along to getting along, right? Because if you think about it, right, like the dog vaccine thing, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Like, hey, have you looked into these dog vaccines? Most owners would be like, no. Should I? Like, they're like, how much time do I have in the day? I got kids. I got a job.
You're right.
Like, don't, if you work from home, don't go like Googling dog vaccines all day when you should be working, right? We're running out of time in the day to do all this stuff.
Yeah, you are.
It's like you like drive some car.
You're running out of time and money.
Why'd you buy that car?
Matters.
That car's not good. You should have done your research. You know, you're like, what do you want me to do, bro?
I know. No, I know. Yeah, that's
you
life.
Can't eat that. You can't eat that type of food.
That's
you shouldn't be eating milk or drinking milk or dairy, right? You're like, not?
We drink A2 milk.
So do I, but I don't know why.
You
I didn't know
do?
what it is.
Good for you.
Costco has A2 milk.
What?
Yes.
I don't go to Costco anymore, but
why not?
I don't like it. I buy too much stuff. I go there a little bit.
What the hell is A2 milk? It's on the Costco thing.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. It's a let me see if I get this right besides I look.
I've looked this up.
Okay, actually. It is a old line of cows. It's a old like genealogy
the only
of
difference
cows
between A2 milk and traditional milk is the A2 variety does not contain the A1 beta casein protein.
Good. A1 beta casein protein sounds bad to me.
Well, casein is like a style of that's like there's this whole thing with whey.
I don't trust
casein.
What they're saying right there.
What do you mean? You know what we should try to do?
You're going to try to find real information on milk. Milk. I say milk weird. People make fun of me. I say, well, you say milk. You should say milk. I say milk.
You say milk.
And I say pillow, not pillow.
What
is that?
My 3-year-old says nyuk.
What's that?
Milk.
Oh.
She says like nyuk. And then we'll go, no, not nook. Say milk. And then she'll
you gotta take that kid in for a speech therapist.
We'll go,
that doesn't
mom.
make sense.
We'll go like say mom. We'll go say mom. She'll go, okay. And then you'll say something else. And then she'll go say mom. He's going to say now say milk. And she'll go nook.
Yeah. She doesn't.
You can't win them all.
I believe the A2. I heard the A2 milk is an older line of cows. It's a
cooking the books.
So, we're doing what I get annoyed by. I watch Rogan and he goes, oh, and then they go look it up and they go, oh, the New York Times said, and then they act like what they just read was correct.
I only would like to know if it's correct. So, but speaking, we should get for an endorsement.
Big Milk, speaking of Big Pet, controls a lot of the stuff that's Google on here.
But
you think Big Milk wants you buying A2 milk?
But what about Kerrygold?
Milk?
Kerrygold butter.
We buy it. I heard it's the best.
It tastes good.
Yeah, and apparently it's okay for you. So that's all we buy.
But those are pasture raised cows.
That's what they say.
I believe it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't lie to me.
No. Yeah.
If they wanted to do a deal, I would.
All we eat is like grass. Almost all we eat is like grass-fed meat. It's so expensive, but my kids need to eat so much food. It's out of control.
What do you mean you only eat grass-fed meat? What else do you eat?
Oh, well, we eat potatoes. We eat steak all the time.
But what else do you eat besides meat?
Oh, we eat potatoes and we eat some vegetables. And we
eat fruit?
Fruit. We eat fruit. Love fruit.
Do you eat salad?
I do not eat salad.
I went and got you saw me eat this. Do you see that salad I got last Tuesday?
Yeah, and you just didn't eat the greens. You just ate the stuff off the salad. You should have just said, give me a pile of ranch dressing, egg, chicken, and whatever else.
How much chicken did I eat that night?
Yeah, you love chicken.
I must eat like 14 ounces of chicken.
I don't like chicken.
I don't either, but
it was
what
good.
am I going to do?
It looked good. Your chicken
I didn't even eat one piece of lettuce. Not even one that was attached to the chicken. It was all
Yeah.
removed. What are you looking at?
For those, which may be difficult for some people to digest, for those with milk protein allergy or with
Yeah.
a lactose intolerance, A2 milk will not be a good option.
Well, so the thing is so the thing
They're
is
already
there's
like,
casein.
don't
though.
eat it.
So like the
Don't
whole
drink
thing
it.
is like, and this is more stuff I don't know about, but like there's whey protein and there's casein protein. Casein's a slower digesting protein, but like some of these things are kind of nasty. And so like, as you know, there's the different layers, right? You know about this stuff like cream, half and half, whole milk. You know about all this stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's
You
like
know
a
more.
whole, it's like a whole, I don't know what you would call it, like a hierarchy of milk.
Yes.
Of like, or of dairy. And it's like
Yes.
they skim, that's why the whole cream rises to the top type of
Yes,
situation.
which I say
right?
all the time.
Yeah, that's where it's from.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you looking up here?
I'm trying to figure out if
This is my job.
There's something called A2 cows. So my
All right,
point is,
you say something really funny, and I'll look.
my
up A2
point
cows.
is that it's a different line of cows. It's not just something they do to the milk. Do A2 cows. Or if there's A2
I'm going to
cows,
MythBusters here. It's the same thing that we just looked up.
cows with A2, go up. Cows with the A2 gene produce only A2 milk. So it's a different cow altogether. I believe it's an older line of cows.
Cows with A2G2, or sorry, A2A2 gene produce only A2 milk. Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that.
Swiss breeds.
Normandy.
See, it's all old school places that have these cows. Jersey, which is in England. I met a family from
How do you
Jersey,
say
and I was
that
like, "Oh,
next
New
one?
Jersey." They're like, "No, Jersey."
How do you say this?
Guernesey, Normandy, and Brown Swiss breeds. So it's this old school, probably isolated group of cows from freaking
Cows are kind of weird, anyways, right?
Then they go to mass produce cows, and everyone. That's what I'm
They
saying.
say cows aren't even really like natural.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if there was ever cows just cruising around.
There supposedly weren't. I think they were bred.
Yeah, but there had to be something like a cow, probably a slimmer cow.
I feel like it would come from like an elk or something like that.
No, I think there was something like a cow. Thin cow. A thin cow.
Where did cows come from? Cattle were independently domesticated from the aurochs. Is that how you say
A
it?
wild bovine
Aurochs?
species. Okay, so yeah, I
Wild
mean, that's
bovine.
a cow. It's just old school.
Isn't elk bovine also, or no?
No, bovine. So it's the gut.
They're ungulates. Ungulates.
Yeah, a lot of it's about the gut. So cows and goats are hind gut digesters. So they have this big vat of a stomach. So they're their own kind of group of animals.
So bovine versus what's it called? Ungulates, right? Ungulates. So basically, animals that walk on one or three hooves are known as odd-toed ungulates. Zebras, horses, rhinos, and
there's also something to do with their
even-toed
gut.
ungulates make up the rest of the hoofed animals on Earth. These include bovines, antelope, warthogs, and other pigs and sheep. So there's two different types. Okay, so bovine is part of the even-toed ungulates. So I guess cows are ungulates also.
Yeah, it's like a square is not a rectangle, but a rectangle is a square or something, or the other way around.
You just blew my mind with that.
You've never heard that?
No, I'm kidding. Living ungulates are divided into two orders.
Right, rhinoceros, tapirs,
cattle, deer. There you go. Including cattle, antelope, pigs, giraffes, camels, sheep, deer, hippopotamuses. Hippopotami is what they should call that. No, the ungulate.
All right.
Wild, huh?
How about comments?
How about comments? Is that our cue to keep it rolling? Let's see. Do you have comments? I've got a few.
You go ahead.
This person says something very controversial. Dottier.
Go ahead. These are comments from our last podcast.
Spanking must come back. Person says, did it ever leave?
I'm not the biggest fan of spanking.
Off-grid dog says, what have we got to lose?
Spare the rod.
He says, what have we got to lose, though? What an interesting thing
This is from our last,
Yeah. When did the spanking thing come up?
Probably last podcast.
Oh, it was just about the fact that people are out of control.
Yeah.
Right? And there's like, hey,
the kids are out of control.
I like this. So our Patrick, our resident comedian here, right?
Yeah.
He says, if you own a will hunting of a dog, tell it this: You ever disrespect my leash again, and I will effing end you. You got that, Chief? Not really. Just go forth and control thy doggess.
You
So,
saw that our Patrick redid the Stand song by Eminem, right?
I did see that.
Yeah,
That
which was
wild.
pretty amazing. I felt
What
like.
did he say? It was like, well, how did the chorus go?
I have an email.
It was like,
This isn't too inside
and
baseball,
I can't
right?
train my dog. I think
All
that's
right.
what he said.
Okay. His name's like, oh my gosh.
I want to apologize. Can I do a quick apology segment and say that I apologize to the pet wellness coach and everyone else who had a problem with my zipper merge thing, because clearly if two people were confused about it, I wasn't clear about the fact the guy wasn't in the merging lane.
You weren't that clear.
I take 100% responsibility for my
All right.
actions.
Toe Pots fam said, are you guys really short? That was the question. And I said, jokingly, Eric wanted me to make it clear that I was joking. I said, not sure what you consider short, but Eric's 5'6" and I'm 5'3". And I think
I thought you said I was 5'3".
No, I made
5'6".
sure to make me be
Oh,
smaller.
thank you for doing that.
So is Dog Daddy like tiny then? And I just said, yeah. So is Dog Daddy. I said, oh, he said, yeah, 5'3" is short for a guy. You have a lot of presence. So I think he's into the joke. He knows I'm not 5'3".
Okay, so
a 5'3" man is a little person.
So we're
right?
We're gonna okay,
really
we're doing some fact checking. First of all, you're not a little person if you are 5'3". But second of all,
5'3"? That's pretty small.
You are causing issues with
you're a jockey.
Shorter folks. So
you could be a jockey.
What is the average height of a man in America?
There's only so many of them.
About 5 feet 9 inches tall. That's in America.
That's 6 inches.
So for the record, I am 179 centimeters tall. How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Are you 5'9"?
Yeah.
So I'm an inch and a half taller than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm average.
So, but here, watch this. What is the average height of a man? Take it out of America. See what happens.
5'9". You have bigger countries and smaller countries.
In the United States again.
Oh. In the world.
In the world. Here we go. Let's see if this
okay, you think it's bigger or smaller?
I think it goes lower. I think America has taller people.
I think you're right. I think it's 5'8". 5'7".
5'7".
Ooh.
Nice. What is the tallest and shortest country? Or
no, you can't say that.
No, I'm just asking.
I know. You can't ask that.
You can't Google it. What is the
Google it.
Country?
You can't say it on this podcast.
With the tallest men.
There you go. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna guess.
The Netherlands.
Oh, yeah, that's true, bro. No, I wouldn't have got that, but that is true.
Wait, what? 5 feet 7 inches?
They're big. Northern Europe or Eastern Europe. They're big people.
That seems. Oh, they're 5'11". They're almost 6 feet.
That's big.
Oh, okay. That's pretty wild.
Like Germany and stuff too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And then, so I'm not gonna. Can we say shortest? Am I allowed to do this, or do you think this is frowned upon?
No, actually, I don't know. I made a big deal of it. You can,
shortest people in the world live on the 11,800 square mile Southeast Asian island of Timor-Leste.
It makes sense. It's on an island.
It's just 5 feet 2.9 inches tall. So you're saying you were insulting people that were below or at 5'3". These people are below 5'3". So you just made enemies with a whole island.
How many people live there? How many watchers of this podcast live there would be my question.
I say if we have
it's always islands.
If somebody is in the pod that lives in, what do you call it?
Timor-Leste.
You should give them a free 1 hour training session for insulting them.
I will. How do they prove it?
I don't know.
That's the problem.
Well, let's get in contact with them first.
Timor-Leste. Why is it makes sense it's on an island? Same reason like animals will be small on an island. There's less resources. Plus there's just a controlled sort of breeding situation. But it's for animals, it's less. The smaller ones survive better than the bigger ones because they just don't have the food access. So they natural selection selects being small.
So I was just looking at, while we're at it, just real quick, the most overweight countries in the world. Nauru, I don't even know these. Palau?
Palau,
I know Palau.
Cook Islands,
Cook
Marshall
Islands,
Islands,
Marshall Islands.
Narvala,
A lot of
Tonga.
Pacific.
I love Samoans.
I feel like these people are very muscular, though. I don't know if they're you say overweight. I don't know if that's fair to say that.
It's
Micronesia,
not.
Samoa, like Samoans or Tongans,
are
they're so
awesome.
strong.
They're so strong.
I don't think they're counting for muscle.
Yeah. The least
Where's
overweight.
America on here?
Bro, we're in the middle. We're not the most overweight, and we're not the least.
Least overweight. Vietnam, India, Bangladesh,
Least overweight?
Ethiopia.
What does that mean? The least
The
overweight?
most shredded.
Vietnam, India, Bangladesh, Ethiopia. No jokes. No jokes.
Etc. So, oh yeah, we got distracted. Okay, we're doing comments. We need to. What's that drug that makes you focused? Makes you focus.
Speed.
Kids take it.
Speed.
Or they give it to like kids.
I know it's speed.
It is a form
but
of speed.
It's Ritalin.
No, it's not Ritalin. It's you're close though.
I don't know.
It's gonna bug me when I see it. Do you not know? Oh, here. Yeah, read a really good comment.
Oh yeah, it's like college kids take it.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, it's like big, bro.
Yeah, somebody I was studying with had
the drug situation in society seems to be out of control. In like with like kids, I guess it was different when I was a kid, right? It was different stuff, but like the gummies and stuff situation, they're like causing psychotic breaks in people.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
My wife used to work in a, what do they call it, behavioral mental health clinic.
Yeah.
And she said that like there's a certain percentage of people that have psychotic breaks from marijuana, from like the gummies especially.
We know someone.
But basically like they're totally normal.
Yes.
And then they take
bro
like marijuana in gnarly amounts and they literally have a psychotic break.
Can you believe it? They're making it so strong. It's just engineered and then put in a gummy and like.
I think people are predisposed to. Oh, Adderall is what it was called.
Adderall.
So Adderall, yeah, that's
never taken it.
I have not either. I actually didn't take it, and one of my buddies, who I was studying with this is back in 2003, and we stayed up all night studying for this test.
You stayed up all night?
Yeah,
and you
didn't go to bed. Didn't go to bed. Went in.
Yeah.
It was a 7 a.m. class. Took the test.
This is like Adderall.
And I know,
bro. See,
thank you, Pepsi.
Yours
choice
isn't.
of a
this
new
is
generation.
Like this in 20 years they'll be like, hey, you didn't know this.
You didn't drink that Celsius stuff, did you? That's what they're going to say.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be like, yeah.
What were we just talking about?
Adderall.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he took Adderall, like study drug, and we both studied the entire night and went and took the class. We got the exact same score, which makes me think it's kind of BS. I think I was drinking like Red Bull,
up.
But I was
didn't
drinking
make
like
him
Red Bull or something.
Smarter. It kept him up, but you were able to stay
It's
up.
supposed to help him focus.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't think it's that critical.
No, I mean, they shouldn't be doing this stuff.
I mean, I think everything comes at a cost, right? I mean, there's no freebies, and it's an upper as well, so that's not necessarily a great thing to get hooked on.
My goal is to like keep my kids like off of any of that.
Do you ever worry about like living so close to the beach?
Why?
Just about the crowds. Remember, like we were talking about the whole homeless thing last week, but like there's a contingent
of what?
Of just like rough / drug culture on the beach. People hanging out, drinking beer all day, smoking pot, doing that stuff. You're not familiar with this?
Yeah. What, my kids are going to like become a 40-year-old surfer and like one day and like that's the contingent. You mean kids?
Your kids will become a 40-year-old surfer if they keep surfing.
When they're 40, they can do whatever they want. You mean kids? Am I ever worried about my kids? So the culture I see, yeah, but of surfing,
beach going / surfing. It's not just surfing. It's just the beach tends to bring a different contingency.
Wealth tends to. So San Clemente High, which is a very affluent area, was called a heroin high for a long time. That's not because of the beach. That's because of the money.
So you're saying that the money is more of a driver than the location.
That's what I'm saying. My guess is the area you grew up in, which is not as affluent as San Clemente, but is up there, had a serious drug problem at your high school. No?
I think there, but it was not like, I mean, there's two.
You're
there's,
after
there's
the pill
two-
stuff.
There's two. Yeah, I was.
So the
I
pill
was before
stuff,
the pill stuff.
You're before. That's what I meant. The
Yeah.
pill stuff is really what changed things. Stealing from parents
Yeah, that
and then
didn't
getting
happen.
hooked on that. Yeah. You're actually before.
I missed
that.
it by like 4
Yeah,
years
I
because
missed
I
it.
remember the kids. I remember my friend's
Yeah.
sister that was into that, and I'm like,
So the
you guys just take prescription drugs.
a
all
lot
the
of
time?
the affluent areas, it was prescription drugs that really got tons of people in trouble because their parents would get it and
They go like
the kids would
rifle
steal
through.
it, and like poor parents, I think it's maybe harder for them to get.
Well, yeah, no, they're not sitting there going getting all this medication.
Some of
and
them are,
stuff.
but it's not
now.
it wasn't
Probably
as
not
prevalent.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, when we were in high school, we were not rifling through our parents' medicine cabinets.
Yeah, because the stuff most likely wasn't there.
But even if it was, we just didn't have that. There
Right.
wasn't a cultural
Yeah.
enticement to do that.
And
But,
and you didn't know, your friends didn't do it, so you didn't do it. Now,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't to say it wasn't unheard of that somebody was taking a Vicodin or something like that, but it wasn't like a staple of the
I don't think
culture.
Vicodin existed when I was in high school.
Sure it did.
Did it?
Sure, dude. Probably
In the 90s, yeah, early 90s. Yeah, you're probably right. It wasn't big though. That's my point.
yeah, it's probably been
It's
around.
not going to
for-
tell you the dates. Vicodin, when did it start?
Man, I wish I paid attention in school.
1923.
1923, yeah. So
That was
100
around.
years. But the point is that no one cared about it, obviously.
Yeah, and it wasn't prevalent.
So what were the drugs of choice in Oregon in the
I'm from Eugene, Oregon.
80s or 90s?
What do you think the drug of choice was?
A lot of growing of marijuana, right?
A lot.
We don't really talk about drugs on this podcast, do we?
No,
Have we ever talked about drugs?
I don't think so. You can on YouTube, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're not recommending them.
No. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
growing going
that.
on.
Yeah. Eugene, Oregon.
Is it like if you go in the houses, people are growing it in there too? Obviously outside too, but
I don't know. I haven't been back in years. I mean, it's everywhere.
when's the last time you've been to Oregon?
Well, 2 years ago,
What'd you think of it?
we drove through. It's kind of the same as when I was there in a way.
Were you in your
What do I think of it?
RV-ish looking
Yeah.
vehicle? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember, see, you go on these vacations and then you don't post any videos. See, that's how I remember about it.
I don't post it. Yeah.
You just don't post videos. I'm
I
like,
know.
where did Joel go? It's like, oh, he's on a trip.
I know. I'm not.
How those
I
videos
just
going?
have business social media accounts. I
But
don't
you see what I'm
post personal stuff.
no, but you don't see what I'm
Oh.
saying. That like you go on vacation and then you just don't post dog training videos for like a week or
Oh,
two.
that's true. You're like, why isn't Joel posted? Oh, he's gone.
Like, have you been working on any videos? You're like, I should be able to get it out before we leave, and then I just don't hear from you for a week.
I know. Oh,
Wow. My
Kid's
son is screaming from the top of his lungs.
Are we done?
No, did you get any other comments?
Yeah. Well, I had R. Patrick's rap.
Okay, do that one. That
You
one.
want that?
I think he
okay.
earned
Well,
it. I think
can
he
we
earned it.
set it up?
I think you earned it.
So our Christine, I shame pinned her.
Yeah.
Okay. R. Patrick, if you know Eminem, which Eric knows Eminem, Eric's the biggest Eminem fan in the world, arguably.
Am I?
Wouldn't you say? You love Eminem.
I think I loved him
You
when I
grew
was
up with it.
20 years old.
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
like loved him more than anything at 20 years old.
hmm,
That's what I thought.
I mean, it's Eminem. What do you want me to do?
Yeah,
Guy's
that's what I'm saying.
Legend, but
Okay, so R. Patrick, Christine Leonard posted again on my newest one, which was crazy after I pin shamed her that she posted again, but good on her. I'm glad she did. Dog owners can train however they want. I use positive reinforcement. Don't like how Joel is against positive techniques. R. Patrick wrote, Christine. Okay, he wrote, the morning rain clouds up my window and I can't walk my dog. Dear Joel, this is the third comment in the last 3 pods. I hope you got them. I sent you the same emails back in autumn. You must not have got them. I left my dog training style some more rude comments and my email address at the bottom. Probably a problem with the server
or something.
or with probably a problem with the server or something. Anyways, not your biggest fan. This is Chris Stan.
Oh, Chris Stan, like
Stan, like
Christine.
Stan.
I was trying to
You
find
could have
her
rapped that
original.
better
I know
than
I
me.
should have. Because I actually practiced it because I told it to my oldest and my wife.
The actual Eminem song.
No, I just told him about that.
Oh,
what had happened with that quote.
yeah.
So where was Christine? What was the video that she?
The last podcast.
No. Before
She's back.
She didn't. She wasn't she the one that you pinned?
Well, she's the one that emails me. Yeah, I pin of shamed her in the podcast before that. So 21.
But was it the? Oh, it wasn't podcast, was it? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Oh, pin of shame was a normal
I think she
video.
deleted it.
Oh yeah, he emailed me. Our Patrick emailed me.
But did she delete?
He asked me if she deleted it or I deleted it, and I emailed him back and I said I would never delete.
No, you pinned her. She deleted it.
She deleted it.
I think it was oil and water.
Yeah,
I think
she deleted her pinned. But she's back, bro.
No, but there was like 65
stop.
comments.
I respect
wasn't there?
that.
There was 65 comments.
People went at her. I would have deleted it if I was her.
You pinned her. Basically, what happened?
I shamed her.
But she said, "You have this is a guy who doesn't get back with his email. Get back to his email."
I quoted her exact email in the comment section. She's
shredding you,
and she's like, "You're an a-hole." She didn't say that, but she said, "You're rude." And I was like, "I'd be crazy to get back to an email like that." I pin of shamed her, and then it's taken on a whole life of its own.
Can we talk about Jason Corey for a minute?
Sure.
So
I felt bad for him. He posted the video.
Oh, it didn't come through.
And then they didn't do it right, and he had to repost it.
Yeah, so that, it didn't have as
which
many views.
Messes up things.
Yeah,
I've done it.
Yeah,
it sucks. You literally you go into a cold sweat.
Yeah,
you don't just go, oh, I have to repost the video after 5,000 views.
Yeah,
or 10. Or
I'm
20.
doubling down. There was a couple of comments that were saying, and I love when they tell me that I'm right, but I was talking about how like 60% of people shouldn't own any dog, let alone a Cane Corso.
Yeah.
And people were kind of vibing with that opinion. But my thought of this is, it really is, I'm not seeing a lot of people that I feel like are very strong dog owners. Now, I'm not saying the people on this pod are not, but I'm saying in general,
yeah,
I don't go around society going like, wow, that dog's well behaved.
All right, so what do we do about it?
I'm just saying, like, how is all these people?
I know. You're right.
I actually went to their video, the one that you're talking about, Jason Corey's one where it was talking about the Beckman podcast or whatever, or
no, Beckman video.
Beckman video, and it makes me think I'm going because everyone's on there. Oh, my Cane. My wife is 122 pounds and she has, she is the leader of our house and she has all these, and I'm going, okay, so I'm reading all these comments. There's not one person that can't handle their Cane Corso. Yeah. I don't believe you.
Yeah. That was on his video or our video?
That was on his video.
On his video.
Yeah.
Well, the whole video was like how you, I think if I remember right, like how women can do it too.
And I know women can do it. I'm just saying, I feel like 60% of people cannot train their dogs in general.
Yeah,
let alone a Cane Corso.
I think you're right.
What is with all these amazing people that just have utter control over this 140-pound dog?
Well, it's the followers of Jason Corey and the followers of Beckman's dog training.
I know, which are they watching another level? They're still at another level, but still, there's not anyone that has got trouble. Like nobody in the comments is like, hey, I'm not going to lie. My Cane Corso is difficult to deal with. I'm a 100-pound woman, etc.
100-pound man,
and I'm
a 5'3" man.
How dare you, Joel?
5'3" is really small for a man.
Muggsy Bogues was 5'3".
I don't think he was. Muggsy Bogues, I don't think was 5'3".
How tall was he, Joel?
Well, listed is different. NBA players list themselves different. I'm going to say Muggsy Bogues listed it as 5'5".
5'5".
Bro, it doesn't give you his height.
Right
like,
there.
Why else?
5'3", 5'3".
Muggsy Bogues, are you really 5'3"?
What would you think he is? Taller or shorter?
Taller
than 5'3". He's going the opposite way.
I think he's taller.
How
than
tall
5'3".
is Spud Webb,
dude? He should be in the Hall of Fame.
How tall is Spud
5'6".
5'7". I know these heights. Oh, 5'6". That was wrong,
bro.
I watched Sports Illustrated.
This is before your era.
No, he wasn't. Spud Webb Minute Bowl.
Minute Bowl. 7-6 listed. Maybe 7-7.
7-7. And there was a
Keep going.
there was
This-
a
now you're in my world.
Sports Illustrated for kids. For kids. I had this and they were jumping up. I don't know why you can't
Yeah,
see
I've
it.
seen all those pictures.
Where was the Sports Illustrated for kids? They're jumping up and grabbing the hoop, and Muggsy is just doing it. Or not Muggsy. What's his name? Spud Webb. Either way, 5'3".
Look it.
Muggsy Bogues.
5'6", 5'3". They're the exact same height. Like, what is that?
Are you trying to say you?
I'm just trying to say that their picture of Spud Webb, who they say
They
is
both
listed
look
at
5'3" to
they're
me.
the exact same.
They look 5'3" to me. Let's show this to them before. So, anything else you got for these amazing pod listeners? We apologize. We're a bit all over here, but look at this. Joel's
Bro,
trying to
I
say.
remember all these. Every Sports Illustrated cover.
Did you have Sports Illustrated for kids or no?
No, I just had regular Sports Illustrated because I was in a little wimp reading.
Wait.
Sports
I
Illustrated
thought you
for
were a
kids.
little wimp.
No.
When did that happen? Where is the one?
If you brought up Sports Illustrated from the 90s.
Look at that.
Oh, bro.
That's not the one I had.
I had them all over my wall.
Sports Illustrated for kids. Do you ever read Sports Illustrated?
Not anymore.
Is it still a thing? I don't even know.
Yeah, they still have it.
I remember,
No
wasn't
one
there
does.
a swimsuit issue?
Yeah.
Can't remember if that was the case or not.
All right. That's it.
That's it. Should we end it on the?
Let's end it.
All right, that's it.
Let's end this
Tell them
thing.
to subscribe or do something.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe to the channel. Love you guys.
See you guys. Merry or happy holidays.